which signifies a certain sgulas, and also mitzad their qualities. Yisachar is Teiras, Vuln is business, Yehuda is Malchus. Each one has their own qualities. Yeshleimar, so the Rebbe continues, this is also hinted gam bameh, shekol am Yisrael, nikras b'shem Yisrael, nikroim b'shem Yisrael, shmei shel Yankiv. That the whole Jewish nation is called with the name Yisrael, which is the name of Yankiv. Yankiv was the first one to receive the name Yisrael. Leikore Shimcha Yankiv Kim Yisrael. Ubefrat Alpi Orem how you do, and especially as the Remez in Megala Mukis. This is Ha'ara 26. The Yisrael Rosh Teves Yashishim Riboy Eisis Latera. That Rosh Yisrael, the word Yisrael is an acronym that there are Yesh Shishim Riboy Eisis Latera. There are 600,000 letters to the Torah. Hainu Shashem Zeh, that this name alludes to Meramez al Kol Shishim Riba Nishamas Yisrael, that this alludes to the 600,000 Yidden that went out of Mitzrayim, Sheyesh Kenegdan Shishim Riba Yeses Latera, that they correspond to the 600,000 letters in Torah. And as the Rebbe asked the question, there's a whole Maimer in the Likutei Torah in Parsha Bahar that L'cheira we don't find so many letters. There's 304,000 letters. So it's mentioned in Svarim that the vowels, the nikudas, are also added. So then it adds up to this total. With this we also understand the Aveda before, that every Yid is Shaykh to Ruven, Shimon, Levi, Yehuda, because all the Shvatim are all blended together. Hine, Alidei, Aveda Zu, Ushlei Musa.
Avram represents Abba. So why do we need Ruvain to represent Abba? Yitzchak represents Kavura. Why do we need Shimon to represent Kavura?
Okay, one of the explanations that can be given is based on a Maimer that the Alter Rebbe speaks in Terei Parsha Boy. The Alter Rebbe speaks the difference between Moshe Rabbeinu speaking and Matan Torah, Moshe Rabbeinu, and the Nevi'im. And the Alter Rebbe says that the Moshe Rabbeinu was speaking in Atzilus. For his generation, generation, it was sufficient. Speaking from Atzilus, they can relate to it. But then came the Nevi'im, they are speaking in Biyah. They're speaking the low worlds in order to bring it down, to draw it down, that it should apply to the people in the later generations. The lower generation, they needed someone that's closer to their level. Haderech, like we find the difference between Moshe and Yeshaya. That by Moshe it says, Hazinu HaShamayim, Yisishma Oretz. He says the heavens should listen, and the earth should listen. But there's a difference. Hazinu means listen carefully. Yisishma means from a distance. Hazinu is closer than Sishma. Hazinu means like a whisper, hearing very close. Because by Moshe Rabbeinu, Shamayim, heaven was closer. So therefore he says, Hazinu HaShamayim b'Sishma Oretz. Yeshaya said, Shimi Eretz v'Hazinu Shamayim. Shimi Eretz, that Shimi Shamayim meinech v'Hazinu Eretz. Shamayim, which is far, is in of Shmiya, because Yeshaya being an Elam Abriya. So by him speaking about Atzilus is a distance. That's why he says from a distance, remote. Shimi. Mashenkin Eretz is Hazini Eretz, is closer to him. He was closer to Eretz. Which is the same thing, is also a difference between the Ovis and the Shvatim. The Ovis was Elam Atzilus, and the Shvatim was Elam Esbiyah. Is Yeshleimar, the Shvatim were actually the channel to bring it down in later generations that it should apply to every person. And this is actually also another explanation to Aninyan that the Gemara tells us in Psachim, that Bishas Yidden said, Bishas they came out in this week's Parsha. When they got together, when he called them together, so it says that he didn't know exactly where they were up to, so they told him, Shema Yisrael. He said Shema Yisrael. They said, he said Shema Yisrael. They said Shema Yisrael. They said Shema Yisrael. The Shvatim said Shema Yisrael. Yisrael speaking about Yankiv. Shema Yisrael. Hashem Elokeinu, Hashem Echad. That the Almighty is one. So they answered Baruch Shem. He answered Baruch Shem. And because because he said it, and Moshe Rabbeinu did not say it, so the Gemara says, what should we do? So we say it quietly. Baruch Shem. Besides Yom Kippur. Comes Chassidus and says that what did they say? Ki shem she'ein belibcha elo echad, kachem belibeinu elo echad. The same way that in your heart is only one and only, the same thing also in our heart is only one and only. So Chassidus explains that the one and only the way Yankiv understood it, and the one and only the way the Shvatim understood it, is a different world. He's not Silus, and they're in Bria. And that's why it says also that Bishasa came to the dream, and they were telling Yosef, Yosef had a dream, and he said, V'hine kom alumosi gam nitzova, vatishtachaveno, that you bow down to my harvest. So it says the reason is because they were in Bria, which is a lower world, a lower state of nullification, bittul, and Yosef was not Silus. So therefore they had to go through not only a bittul hayesh, but a bittul ayin, and that's why it's kama v'gam nitzova, 2 levels of bittul to reach the level of Yosef.
But he included his parents also. His father was an Atzilus.
Okay, that's a besondere Sache, that he included his parents, and aber kopanim that mittel Rebbe in Teres Chaim. In Parsha Vayeshev, but a ganze beer of the minion, das bitl hayesh, bitl ayin, the level of Yosef wasn't the level of Elam Atzilus. And that's why it says, Ela Tildis Yankiv Yosef. What is the connection, Yankiv and Yosef? That Yankiv, in order to be able to channel through everything in Elam Abriya, he needed Yosef, which is the attribute of Yesod. And Memela, everything that went through Yankiv went through Yosef. And that is also the reason why he wanted after Rachel. It says, Vayev Yankiv es Rachel. Yankiv loved Rachel. So comes in the Zayar and comes the Mittel Rebbe, the Alter Rebbe in Terei, and the Mittel Rebbe in Teres Chaim, and the Rabbeim, I think in the Ratero and Vayta, the Rabbeim bring that what was the union of Rachel? Rachel is the union of Malchus, the attribute of Malchus. And he wanted, his whole aim was to take from Atzilus and bring down to the lower worlds. And they were the channels. Sai Yosef, Sai Rachel. So that's why it was Vayev Yankiv es Rachel, because this was the channel, the tzinner, to bring down from Tiferes of Atzilus into Bia.
But in the end, Yehuda has the Malchus.
In the end, is Inyan, but Rachel remained the 4th leg of the Merkava. In Malchus, you have Avram, Yitzchak, Yankiv, Rachel. Later, it changed to David, because David became the representative of the attribute of Malchus. So it's the Regel HaRevi. Yehuda is also the Inyan of Malchus, and it's right in his Inyan. Through this Aveda and its completion, which is the ultimate goal, the union of nullification to Hashem, they come later, so then we come to the continuation, to the continuation of the blessing of Yankiv, which is the blessing to Yehuda, to Mashiach comes, and to him nations will gather. Shilei Melech HaMashiach. As Rashi says, Shilei goes on Mashiach. Kepirush Rashi, Melech HaMashiach, Shamelucha Shalei. Melech HaMashiach, which is the Melucha is to him. Umedrash Agoda, Shiloi, Shailoi. Shai means a present. Shenemar Yevilu Shaila Meira. That they will bring presents out of fear they'll bring presents. That what does it mean?
Out of fear?
Lemeira. Lemeira from women.
Feared one?
Lemeira, zu dem was hat Meira auf dem Zu dem was hat Meira fahren. Okay, good. So they'll bring gifts to the one that they are fearful of, who is the Almighty. That what is it pertain to nations? Because when Mashiach will come, there'll be a godly revelation also in the nations of the world. Then the whole world will be corrected to serve Hashem. That the Eibishter is going to turn then. That they're going to turn then, he will turn to the other nations. Sofa Vrura with a clear language. That they all should call and relate to the name of Hashem. Love the Shechem Echad all together as one. That the kingdom, royalty will be to Hashem. So what does it that pertain to the Jewish nation? That also the Jewish nation will be elevated to a higher level. As it's mentioned in many places,